In this video, I'm going to share with you a step-by-step pattern for making this beautiful sunflower inspired scrunchie in just few minutes. So let's get started. Hey guys, welcome to DIYKraftZ. For this project, I am using 4-ply 100% acrylic yarn and a 4mm crochet hook, and of course a hair tie or a rubber band. Now let's begin with the brown color yarn. We are going to begin with a slip knot. So make a loop on the hand as shown in the video. Now from the center of the loop, insert your crochet hook, grab the working end and hold a loop on the hook and pull the starting tail end, and this will form a knot on the crochet hook. Now adjust the loop by pulling out the working end, and now let us grab the rubber band. Now consider this rubber band as the center, and now insert the needle in the center. Place the rubber band on the hook as shown in the video. Now make a yarn over and then pull up a loop from the center. Now there will be 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and draw the yarn out of both the loops. So that is the single crochet. Now to the left of this first single stitch, insert your needle again in the center, yarn over and pull up a loop. Again you will have 2 more loops on the hook, yarn over and draw the yarn out of these 2 loops. That's the next single stitch. So for the first row we are going to make single crochet stitches all around the row. So you will continue to make the single stitches. This is the third single stitch. Again insert the needle, yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over again and draw the yarn through both the loops on the hook. And you are going to repeat this throughout the row. Now you have to make sure that all the stitches are placed next to each other. There should not be any overlap. Also, there should not be any gaps in between the stitches. And if you notice any gaps in between the stitches, just pull out the rubber band from one side on the other side, and this will make sure that the stitches are close enough and you will not be seeing any of the black color in between the stitches. So that is how you have to, you have to make the stitches in the center. Again drop a loop, single stitch. Towards the left side, again drop a loop and single stitch. Drop a loop and one more single stitch. All the stitches should be on one side, and whenever you observe the gaps in between your stitches, just pull the rubber band outside so that the stitches will squeeze close to each other and there will be no gaps. And occasionally you have to adjust these stitches and repeat it throughout the center until the starting point. So this is how the rubber band looks after completing the stitches. You don't have to put any count. It depends on the size of your rubber band. Once the last single stitch is done, insert your hook on the top of the first single stitch, yarn over and make a slip stitch. Then chain 1 and then trim the excess thread, leaving a small tail end, like 2 to 3 inches of tail end. And now draw the yarn out of the last loop to form a knot. So this completes the first row. Here we will do the finishings. So for that I am using a tapestry needle. Now we are going to hide both of these starting and finishing tail ends. Insert the tail end into the tapestry needle, and now weave in this tail end across a couple of stitches, maybe 4 or 5 stitches, and make sure that the needle passes only through the back side of the loops and that should not be seen from the front side. That will give you a neat finishings for your project. And we are going to repeat the same thing with the starting tail end as well. So weave in for a couple of stitches and then we will have some more extra thread that is coming out of the stitches. So we are going to trim that excess thread close to the project. And while cutting down these excess threads, make sure that you are not cutting down any of the stitches that you have made. Only the excess thread should be trimmed out. Now let's start making the petals part for making this scrunchie. Now insert your hook into both the loops of any of the stitches in the first row. Now take the yarn on the hook. Here I am using the yellow color yarn. You don't have to make any knots or loops on the yellow thread. Just put the yarn on the crochet hook as shown in the video. Now pull this new color out of the stitch and then leave the starting tail end, and with the working end start making a foundation chain. That's chain 10. I'm doing it right now. You can change the number of chains depending upon your requirement. If you wanted a taller petals, you will make chain 15. So next we are going to make a slip stitch. So insert the needle into the next stitch, draw the yarn and pull the loop out of all the loops on the crochet hook. So that's the first petal, and this is the size of the petal. Again chain 10, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Again in the next stitch, insert your needle into both the loops, yarn over and draw the yarn out of all the loops on the hook. So come out of the base yarn and also the loop on the hook. That is the second loop. Again chain 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And then make a slip stitch on the next stitch. So insert the needle into the next stitch, like both the loops of the stitch, yarn over, draw the yarn out of the stitch and out of the loop on the hook as well. So that will give you the third loop. And now we have to repeat the same thing all over the second row, like on the top of the first row. And as I have told you previously, you can adjust the height of these petals by changing the number of chains of this chain, foundation chain. So in this pattern I have used chain 10. If you wanted taller petals, you can go for chain 15, and if you want smaller petals, you can make it only chain 5 or chain 7 and repeat the same number of chains throughout the row until the starting chain. So here I am making the last petals of this sunflower scrunchie. So that's the last single stitch. If you want, you can make one more chain 10 to attach it to the first one. If not, you can just complete it with the last stitch itself. But to make it complete, I'm just making the last slip stitch on the top of the first stitch also. Once it is done, make chain 1 and then trim the excess thread again by leaving like 2 to 3 inches of tail end, and then fasten off. Adjust the loop with your hand so that all the loops are arranged properly. So that is the end of your second row. Now let's do the finishing part. So just like how you have done with the starting threads, you will take the tail end into the tapestry needle and weave in those threads into a couple of stitches, only inserting the needle into back loops. And after that, you take the tail cutter and then trim the excess threads close to the project. And with this, you have made yourself a beautiful sunflower inspired scrunchie. And if you have used the cotton yarn and the same pattern, the outcome of the scrunchie will look something like this. So with just the change of yarn material, the outcome will change. I hope you all enjoyed watching this tutorial. Do give this pattern a try and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. See you all in the next video. Thank you for watching. Please like the video, share it and subscribe to DIYKraftZ.